So you're getting ready to go out and hit the trails, do a little bit of off-roading, and if you're lucky, maybe even a little bit of rock crawling. So you're wondering, do you need to air down before you hit the trail? Well, yes and no. I'm going to answer these questions and more during this video. And at the end, I'm going to show you a quick and inexpensive way to air down. Stick around and find out the answers. So why air down? The reason why people air down is letting air out of the tires makes the tires overall softer, so they absorb a lot of the shock. When you're going down those washboards, the tire is going to accept some of the shock instead of transferring that all the way to the steering wheel and to your seat. Also, it creates more of a footprint where the tire makes more contact with the ground, allowing for better traction altogether. Also, it makes the tire more pliable and more soft, more malleable. So when you're climbing over rocks and climbing up rocks, the tire is going to grip to those rocks instead of just sitting on top of them. So when should you air down? I'd air down if I'm going to be on the trail for more than 15, 20 minutes. I go ahead and air down the tires. The ride comfort is just so much better. It doesn't throw you around as much when you're going through them washboards. It's just overall better. When shouldn't you air down? Well, you shouldn't air down unless you have a way of airing back up. You don't want to drive your vehicle aired down on the asphalt or the concrete roads. It's not good for your tires. It'll cause premature wear on your tires. So make sure you have a way to air back up if you're going to air down. One of the biggest questions I get all the time is how much to air down to? Well, I drive a Jeep Wrangler JK, a 2016, and I run 33-inch tires, and they're all terrain tires. I even air down a little bit below what the specifications from the manufacturer are for driving on the street. With the all-terrain tires and with them being a little bit oversized for my Jeep, it rides a little rough if I put what the manufacturer recommends air-wise into the tires. So for the Wrangler, they call for 35 pounds of pressure. I normally run my tires at about 30 pounds on the road, on the asphalt and on the concrete highways. It creates for a little softer ride when you're driving down the highway and you hit those potholes. Now, how much do I air down for the trails? Well, for the trails, I air down to about 20 pounds. It really depends on the weight of your vehicle and the tires you're using. There's plenty of calculators that are on the internet that you can use to determine what the best air pressure would be for airing down when you're on the trails. But for me, it's 20 pounds. Sometimes I go to about 18 if I'm going to be climbing over a bunch of rocks. You want to use a little bit of caution. You don't want to take too much air out of your tires because if you do, they might come off the bead and you might be stranded on the side of the road changing a flat. So make sure you start out at about 20 pounds. I recommend starting out at about 20 pounds. And if that's not soft enough for you, then maybe try 18. Most tires you can go down, if they're AT tires or off-road tires, you can go down to about 15 pounds and not have to worry about them coming off the bead. I recommend starting a little higher than that and then going down from there if the comfort isn't to your liking. Now, at the beginning of this video, I told you I was going to show you an easy way to air down, a cost-effective way to air down. Now, I use some tire deflators that I bought off of Amazon. They're under $40, and they actually work quite well. They're the Auto D-Link air deflators. They work very easily. To set them up, basically, if you look on here, there's a pressure amount and you set that to the top of the ring. It's got another ring that loosens up and you tighten that ring down to make sure they stay in place. Basically how these work is you screw them onto your valve stem and it automatically starts deflating your tires, and it'll stop deflating when it reaches the pressure that you set on the deflator itself. I set mine to 20 pounds, and like I said, they're easy to use. You just basically screw them on to the tire and air will automatically start coming out. And when it gets to the end, it'll stop automatically. Now the kit comes with 4 deflators, and what I do is I start with the front tires and I work my way around, putting one on each tire. Typically, by the time I get all the way around the Jeep back to the first one I put on, it's already deflated the tire down to 20 pounds, from 30 to 20 pounds. only letting out 10 pounds of air, and it's already all done. So then I go around the Jeep again, taking them off, and my tires are all aired down to the 20 pounds that I like to use when I'm out off-roading. I'll put a link to these down below so you can go on Amazon and check them out if you want to get some. Now, how do I air back up? Well, I bought a small air pump off of Amazon. It wasn't too overly expensive. It's not super fast, but it does the job pretty good. It takes about 5 minutes to fill up each tire from 20 pounds to 30 pounds. So it's about a 20 to 25-minute process altogether to air the tires back up. Again, I highly recommend anytime you're going to be off on a trail for more than 15-20 minutes or it's very washboardy, you definitely air down. If you're going to be out on the trails all day, I highly recommend it. The ride difference is extremely different. It's a whole lot softer and a whole lot more comfortable when you're driving around with the tires aired down on the trails. Again, the tires will absorb a lot of the shock that is normally transferred to the bottom of your seat. I hope you found this video interesting. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please click that subscribe button below. And if you liked the video, go ahead and click the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. And if you want the air deflators or the air pump, check out the links below and they'll lead you right to where they are on Amazon. And until next time, this is Rooster's Road Trips.